So last week I cooked a Spanish tortilla for my friend Lulu, and she sent me an email in the week and asked me how I cooked it, but I thought rather than just send her a list of ingredients, I would show her how it was done. So that's what we're going to do now. And basically a Spanish tortilla, if you don't know, is an omelette. It's got some potatoes in it, it's got chorizo, it's got onions in it, all sorts, just whatever you want really, but the basic ingredients are potatoes, which I have here. And what I did to these was simply slice them up nice and thin, and then I deep fried them until they were, cooked through so that you could eat them straight away. And that's it, very, very simple. So I'm going to put these in here. It's about, I would say, 500 grams of potatoes. And then into that I'm going to add some confit onions, and to you and me, that's just basically onions which are sweated down so that the juices come out of them and they're really, really sweet. So there they are. Just one onion. Put that in there as well. Next thing we're going to put in, that's the basic ingredients of it, along with the egg, but I'm also going to add in some shredded chorizo, about 150 grams. There we go. And then the next thing, finally, is some red and yellow peppers, which I just quickly pan fried in a bit of olive oil until they were nice and soft, and that is all we need. Last thing is some egg. I've got about 6 eggs here, and we just need to add a really good pinch of salt into there, maybe a couple, because you need to season those eggs plus all of the other ingredients in there, so it's going to need quite a lot. A little bit of pepper. There we go. And then, just give that a mix, and pour it into the bowl. There we go. How appetizing does that look? Not very, I've got to admit. But what we're going to do next is just mush it all up, and I've just got this metal spatula. And what I'm going to do is just mush it really, really well, get all of the ingredients mixed together. And once we've got that in a real mush, then we can put it into our frying pan and we can turn it into our tortilla. So, a bit of elbow grease. It's a pretty good workout. And this should take you probably about 4 minutes. You might need to get some help while you do this, especially Lulu, because those arms of yours, they're not too strong. I've seen them, so you might need to get one of your housemates to help you on it. And that is as much as you need it to be mixed. So, next thing, we're going to put on the hob here. And I've turned it up to a really high heat initially because we want to get the olive oil really, really hot in the pan. Now the important thing here, and it's a little tip, is to make sure that you get your oil and you swirl it around the entire pan. You want to make sure that all of the edges of the pan are covered in oil, because when you put the mixture in, otherwise it's going to stick to the side and you're not going to be able to flip it out later. So that's on there, and we're going to wait until that's actually smoking a little bit. Before we put all of the mixture into the pan, I'm going to just take out the excess olive oil, because you don't really want your tortilla drowning in oil. There's already enough oil for cooking the potatoes, so we don't want to add any more. So that's that, nice and hot. Next thing I'm going to do is just add this straight into the pan. You can already hear it sizzling, so that pan is really nice and hot. Scrape all of the last bits out. And then what we need to do is just even it all out inside the pan. Make sure you get right to the edges. And then it's on a really high heat now, and the reason why is because we actually want to seal the outside so that that's not going to just stick to the pan. And once it's sealed, then we can turn the heat down and then we'll start to cook it really slowly on the inside as well, because you want to make sure the inside is cooked because it's raw egg. So that should seal it, and in fact the little test for this is just to give the pan a little shake, and if the whole thing moves, then you know that you sealed it on the outside, which we've done. So now I'm just going to turn the heat down, and we're going to leave that for say 4 minutes, and then we'll flip it over. Okay, so I've been cooking my tortilla now for about 4 minutes in the pan. I've been cooking it on a nice gentle heat to make sure that the egg in the middle, the raw egg, gets nice and cooked. Now, flipping it over is the slightly dangerous part. This is where it could all go horrifically wrong. But basically, the thing you need to know is that before you flip it, you want to put a little bit of olive oil onto your plate, and that makes sure that when you flip it onto it, it doesn't get stuck onto the plate when you're trying to flip it back into the pan. So here goes. Put the plate on top like that. Flip it over, and it's cooked. There you go. Now what we need to do is just slide it back into the pan, like so. Perfect. I'm pretty relieved that that went well. Okay, so again, just give it a bit of a shake to make sure that it doesn't stick to the pan. And then we're going to cook that on a medium heat, just the same way as we were doing before, and it's just going to cook it from the bottom upwards, about 2 minutes, and then that should be ready to flip over onto the plate, and then it's pretty much cooked. So, we're just going to leave it there, and we'll come back to it in a couple of minutes. Alright, so we've cooked it for a couple of minutes now on the flip side, and basically it should be about done. Technically, it needs to be 50 degrees in the middle, and that means that the egg is all cooked and it's totally safe to eat. But to be honest, you know, what's a couple of degrees between friends? I think it'll be fine. I'm going to get my presentation plate, I'm going to stick it on the top here, and the only thing we need to do is flip it, and there you have it, a finished Tortilla Espanola. And that, Lulu, is just for you.